Hello and welcome to Women Engage Program Season 5. I'm your host, Rose Misati. In this program, we bring real women from all walks of life to talk about real issues affecting real women in the contemporary world. In case you're watching us for the first time, please go back and follow our previous episodes through our various social media platforms. Today, I have two beautiful ladies who are going to talk to us on a topic that is at the heart of every woman, and that is managing your mental health as a contemporary woman. Before we delve into the topic, I want to ask them to introduce themselves. Let me go to the lady next to me.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me for this talk. My name is Annabelle Duta. I am a mental health advocate as someone who has gone through therapy, and I have been diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety. But I'm happy to be here to share my story.
Wonderful. Annabelle, are you single? Are you married? Do you have children?
I'm single. Yes.
Great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bisase Mora. I'm a medical doctor by profession. I'm also a lifestyle coach. I have an interest in mental health, and I'm an advocate of mental wellness, just like Annabelle. I am married to one man, and I am a mother of 4 children.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. So we go to the definition. What is mental health? You know, many times when people say mental health, somebody thinks mental. And in our local situation here in Kenya, when people hear mental, they think mad. Mental is mad. So somebody tells you are mental. So this, what I can say is that this facet of health is stigmatized, mental health. And we hope to talk about it so that we can lift the lid and destigmatize mental health. We are normalizing these conversations. Let's go to the definition, Bisase. What's mental health?
What is mental health? Mental health, as you've rightly put, has been stigmatized in the past, but it's not so. I think it's because of our culture, but it's actually about how we emotionally look at things. Our emotional wellness, our psychological wellness, and even our social wellness. And it affects how we deal with people, how we think, how we act, and how we even feel at heart. And it goes a long way in how we move around, the kind of choices that we make, whether we shall wake up in the morning or not, whether we shall actually go out and achieve things or not.
Oh, wonderful. So mental health is broad.
It's broad.
It affects us, our emotional wellness, our response to stressful situations.
Exactly.
So that means if somebody is mentally healthy, they need to bounce back from stressful situations.
Yes.
Because stress is part of life.
It is.
But if you are unable to cope with that, then probably you have a mental health challenge. Now, today, because we are talking about women, it's all about women, but we welcome men to the show because, you know, there's always a significant woman in your life.
True.
Now, are women more predisposed to mental health challenges? Annabelle, please tell us.
Yes, I believe we are. I forgot to mention I also have one child. I'm single with one child.
That's
so
important.
I believe that women are more predisposed because of hormones. Hormones, because they play a huge role in our life. You find that they can really change even how you're thinking. For example, when I was pregnant, I had prenatal depression. I did not even know. I did not even know that I had it until when I found out I was pregnant, and then everything made sense
at that point.
And I thought it was the ADHD that was acting up, so I'd actually sought help along the ADHD because I got to know I had ADHD when I was 18, which was again more of hormonal imbalance that now blew up and became now too much for my body to handle, that I went into a depression. So hormones play a huge role.
That's important.
In women. Then also if you have so many responsibilities. These days we are taught to go to school, you get a good education, you get a job, then you maintain the household. Then at the same time, maybe if you're a wife, you still have that side to cater to. So you find that you have a lot of responsibilities, and maybe you have a lot of things also at work. If you're a manager, you have to think about how to help your employees do a better job, how the business is going to run, meaning your testosterone goes up and your estrogen goes down.
Okay.
Meaning now you're no longer feminine, you're like a man
Yeah.
in a woman's body.
Yeah.
Because you're always making decisions in all areas.
Yeah.
So hormones really play a huge role.
And you know, Annabelle, I think hormones are underrated.
Yes.
Some things only a woman can understand.
Yes.
Talking about hormones, I'm in my mid-40s and having hot flashes.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I used to hear my mom talking about hot flashes when she wakes up in the morning. I'm like, what's the big deal?
Yes.
The entire period when I was preparing to come here, let me tell you what was stressing me. Like, I thought it's going to be hot, and I'm like, what am I going to wear? I'll be in makeup, and I'll just, you know, break into hot flashes, and you will just see, and my clothes will, you know, the color and everything. Imagine I was stressed for some weeks about coming here, putting makeup, being in a hot studio. Thankfully, it's not, you haven't seen, it's not hot.
Yes.
So I was like, please, oxygen, air is very important. When I go to a place, I'm looking for the window. So hormones, it's real, yeah? And you can imagine this is what occupied my mind.
Yes.
Bisase, share with us, about when talking about women, what are some of the reasons you would like to add that make women more predisposed?
I like the fact that she said the hormonal issues which we underrate. Additionally, the culture has really changed. The woman is trying to balance so many things, and at the same time is expected to behave the woman.
Exactly.
And make sure all the balloons are balancing in the air.
How does that even work?
One of them has to burst.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one needs to have a good mental health to be able to do so. Women during growing up days may go through childhood trauma, and that can actually affect how they perceive life later. And from the angle of rejection, they tend to reject everything that comes along the way and put on a defense mechanism to ensure that they are moving on well. Many a times in the African context, we will end up serving everybody else the best dish, the best part of the meal, and then the woman forgets herself. So eventually they don't eat the wholesome, healthy diet that eventually has an impact on their brain and the brain development. So it is very important that we also think about what we are putting on the table. Is it making us to grow and make our brain even become better and well-nourished or not? Food for thought.
So wait, Bisase, you're talking about heavy words. You're talking about childhood trauma and African context of serving everybody else.
Yes.
Me, I was raised to know it's a virtue as a girl child to cook and serve my brother with the best part of chicken. Then for me, I eat the legs and the head, and if I'm lucky, I get a wing. If I'm lucky, I get a wing, which I was not lucky because I had other sisters who were maybe older. My sister was older. If I'm very lucky, I get a wing. But most of the time, it was the head, the leg, and the neck, which doesn't have meat. My brother would have the gizzard, the back, the drumstick. That's what men eat. Are you calling that trauma?
I am calling it trauma because at that point in time, you look at it and feel you're rejected.
I did,
and you are only left for the remnants.
I did.
So what is your position in the society?
I don't matter.
You do not matter.
And
Does that affect? Yes,
it
actually
has affected
affects
me
your
even
mental
now.
health. Yes, precisely. So that's the point of, in as much as we do not want to throw away our culture, we also need to remember that you are a significant other person in this life.
And I believe that is true because it affects your self-esteem.
Exactly.
I remember when I first got my diagnosis, the first thing I was told is that my self-esteem was really low. And
if at all it was there.
It was maybe it was more of pride and arrogance.
Exactly.
It was not
Which is a low
self-esteem. It was low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So it affects your self-esteem, and eventually it shows in how you allow other people to treat you. You see? So now it affects your mental health even more. So if people are treating you, they're dismissing your ideas, and you're just okay with it. As a woman, you should keep quiet and sit and listen.
Yeah, good
even
women
when you
shut
have
up.
even when you have a good idea, you
You
not
keep
allowed
quiet
to
and
talk.
wait for the men
You
to
wait.
talk.
You wait for them to talk. You're seeing they are going in the wrong direction. But if you have low self-esteem, you're not able to even voice your idea in a way that does not make them feel less of a man.
Yes.
You see, that's an important point. In fact, the word is, it's called emasculating.
Yes.
That even when you are talking, you are told you are emasculating the man.
Yes.
And I've always wondered, how do I emasculate somebody?
Yes.
By sharing my
My
opinion.
opinion, yes.
So that, yeah, the low self-esteem is, I think it's good for us to capture that.
Yes.
The low self-esteem is a significant part of mental illness. I worked in a mental health institution for over close to 10 years. I did not find a single person who had a healthy self-esteem. A patient, thousands. I didn't come across one who had a healthy self-esteem. So a low self-esteem is actually underlying. And you know, it's good you brought out the issue of childhood trauma, which many of us probably haven't appreciated, that it plays a significant role. So for you, Annabelle, talking about childhood trauma and your experience, is there something you would want to share?
So, being that I had ADHD, I did not know when I was a child. So I remember I used to go to class and I used to be so uneasy because I have to sit long hours and listen to the teacher talking about something. Probably they're repeating what they learned yesterday. And to me, in my mind, I've already caught it. I don't even understand why we are keeping on repeating the same thing. And even having to sit down for like 30 minutes, actually 20 to 30 minutes, I start fidgeting, I ask for permission, I go to the toilet. I used to go to the toilet in one lesson like 2 times. I go wash my hands, I wash my face, I come back. And I found the teachers keeping on telling me, pay attention, stop daydreaming. Because if I sit, maybe for that long time, my mind drifts away. And you can clearly see, you'll ask me a question, I won't even answer because I don't even know what you are talking about. So I found myself all the time, I felt like I was being picked on by the teachers because I was not paying attention. Then when I go back home, I cannot seem, like I'll put a pen on the table, I go to the kitchen, I come back, I was coming to do my homework. I come back, I've completely forgotten I was doing my homework and go and switch on the TV. By the time I'm remembering it's time to do the homework, it's late, my parents have come, they're angry at me. And now I was like, wait, I had purposed to do the homework. Even the book is there and it is open. Then maybe you're sent to go to the kitchen to get a cup, I come back with a spoon. Because I went to the kitchen, I thought about other things. It was more of my mind. My mind thinks like 1,000 thoughts at the same time.
Fast.
Yes, very fast.
And on that note, because you said ADHD,
Yes.
that's an acronym.
Yes.
What does it stand for?
Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder.
That's important.
Yes. So because there are 2 types. There's one who is hyperactive. There's one who is hyperactive and inattentive. And there's one who's just inattentive. So for me, I have the hyperactive and inattentive. So I'll be that child who's bouncing off walls all the time. Like extremely playful. I never get tired.
It's like it's all children you're describing.
Yes, but now for me, the others will sit down to rest and I'll be left playing by myself.
Hyper.
I'm still running around. So my performance was not also so good.
Yeah.
The teachers could see I'm really smart, and even my parents could see.
Yeah.
And actually, I came to hate that word, potential.
Potential. I get that.
Okay.
It's triggering.
Because everyone is like, you have so much potential.
Yes.
But when I get to the exam, I become so anxious of letting everyone down. You know, as a woman, you're told to be nice.
Yeah, and
to
we
be
talked
sweet.
about anxiety as well.
Yeah, you have to play according to what your parents want. You're being obedient by performing well.
You have to fit.
You have to fit.
Lie flat completely.
Yes, and I'm not fitting in. I never seemed to fit in. So I'll go into the exam room and forget everything. Or maybe remember a small little part. So you find one exam, I perform really well. I become the second, the third in class. The next one, because of the anxiety of that performance, I become the last. And no one understands. Everyone, you go home and my parents are mad. They're like, what is this?
For the example of Annabelle, the school performance was a glaring point. It's at that point in time that someone should notice, this was a top student, has suddenly dropped down. What is going on? We need to go and find out what is happening. The fact that depression was picked up at some point, it's a good thing because it was an indication that Annabelle was struggling with some few things here and there. In addition to that, there is also decline in how you take care of yourself. Someone will self-care will be an issue. Decide today I'm not combing my hair, I will not shower, we'll shower next week or maybe next month.
Teenagers don't comb their hairs.
There is the aspect of teenagehood that is different from a mental wellness that someone is going through. So it will not only look at the hair that is combed, but many other things. So you don't pick only one thing as an indicator. Yeah, so in addition to self-care, mood swings. The mood changes, running from being extremely happy and laughing to the loudest to the other extreme. Within a short time, you'll notice someone is crying and weeping over something that you can actually not tell or quite be sure what is going on in this person's mind. One will tend up to drop in their way they function. There is lack of energy, what you call apathy. You cannot pick up yourself and decide to stand up and do a task. And that task is not done to completion. Things are left haphazardly here and there. Things are touched here, half done. I was reading a book, I'll read halfway, not complete the book. I decided to, I'll be cooking and I forget I was cooking and leave the food to be burnt in the process and not feel sorry anyway at the end of the day. The example you gave of homework being done, that was a task that was begun, but it was not completed.
Unfinished.
It's not finished at the end of the day. And then someone tends to feel a bit disconnected.
From reality, from people around them.
You're in the Cinderella world. Fantasy complete, and you're so comfortable in that fantasy.
I lived in that world for
fantasy.
a long time.
Everything else is going on and they're in their own world.
And the books are not helping anyway, because those books are also teaching us fiction to get into that fantasy world.
The books we read.
The books we read.
I think they were written by people who are traumatized for traumatized
It's possible,
people.
Yes. And so someone is in that state for a long time and they're not able to tell. So those signs, someone has to be very keen to be able to notice, so-and-so is not going on.
It's not with us even, you know.
Things are changing slowly. And then you pick one and the other and seek out for help.
Seek out for help.
Yes.
So the most important thing is that we can see the early warning signs, even as parents who are raising children, because I can see a progression, Annabelle, from what you're saying. 12 years depression, ADHD 18 years, diagnosed, but there were telltale signs from early. So the earlier we're able to capture and seek help, even in terms of the healing or, you know, the management, it's easier when we catch the early warning signs before it's too late. Because I've seen some even get to cope with drugs and alcohol. And there was an underlying mental health condition that needed to have been dealt with. Annabelle, I know you've mentioned some of the ways in which people can take care of themselves. And in this case, we are just talking women, but anybody can use this. We are just using this in context because it's a Women Engage program. What are some of the things? I know you talked about healthy diet. What are some of the other things?
So some other things are like take care of yourself.
Self-care?
Go to the salon, have your hair done. And feel good about it. Don't feel guilty.
Sorry.
The minute you start feeling guilty, you still have the problem with you. So feel good about it. Take care of yourself in terms of have alone time. If you're an introvert, don't always be outside, like you know, you're always out.
You can get overwhelmed.
Take time to recharge. Yeah. For example, I take a lot of time to recharge.
Okay.
I make sure every week I have a day to myself.
Oh.
Just quiet time.
Okay.
Either I sleep, I read,
Yeah.
I listen to music. At times, cleaning is also therapeutic for me. It depends on the mood that I'm
regardless of the fact that you have a child.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Yes.
Because some of us use that as an excuse. You can still take time
Yes,
and sleep and recharge.
Yes.
Even if you have a child.
Even if you have a child.
Children.
You can also just, even the time when they're sleeping, let's say you don't have a help, even when they're sleeping, also take a nap.
That's
Don't take, no, that's the time you're waking up to clean and cook.
Calling people.
You're going to burn out.
Yeah.
Burnout is another thing that is really affecting many women and men because you're overworking yourself. You're overworking yourself at work and you're overworking yourself at home.
At home, yeah.
So take time to even listen to your thoughts and watch your thought patterns.
Listening
because
thoughts,
negative thoughts are what will cause mental health, even to someone who's not genetically predisposed, someone who is not hormonally predisposed. Just burning out can really cause anyone to get into a depression.
Yeah, and you know, we cannot underrate the power of thought. Dr. Caroline Leaf, she's a neuroscientist and communication pathologist. She's written a lot of books, Switch on Your Brain, Clean Up Your Mental Mess. She says, thoughts are real things.
Yes.
They occupy mental real estate.
Yes.
That was one of the most powerful statements.
Yes.
Thoughts are real things. They occupy mental real estate.
Yes. True.
So managing your thought process is critically important. Bringing your thought captive.
Yes.
Bisase, if there's a loved one, we can see that a loved one is struggling with a mental health condition. From what you've just told us, maybe we can see a few telltale signs. How can we support them?
There is hope. There is hope even for everyone, for the loved ones, whether young or old, whatever age they are. There is hope. The fact that we have identified they need help, that is a starting point.
Oh, yeah.
And then stand up and seek for multidisciplinary support. That's a whole mouthful, multidisciplinary support, which means that there are many people coming into play. So in the African context, people will run to the witch doctor. That's what I'm not talking about.
I've been taken there.
To the witch doctor to get help. Thinking that the mind has gone berserk.
I've been bewitched.
So bewitched. You need to recall some spirits to clear the issue. That is not the thing. So multidisciplinary support requires both the clinical team, it requires the psychological team, the mental experts. It even requires the family to support. And the church has also a role where someone goes to connect with the divine powers. So when someone is aware that just as Annabelle had mentioned, that there is self-awareness, that there is need to seek out for help, they will get out there. The people who have been trained, the trained professionals, they should be trained professionals. Not any other person will be playing around with your mind. Will support you in the journey. I like the aspect that you said, the issue of diet. There's a big role in diet. Life, whether there's genetic predispositions or not, whether it's issues that have happened in the environment, in our growing up, in our childhood, in our teenagehood, in our adulthood, whatever situation that we are predisposed to, that is only holding the bullet. But your lifestyle will now pull the trigger. So you will decide at that point in time, what is my lifestyle going to be after this? And after all this is said and done, there is a divine power that is required that will actually reconnect the brain wirings that are happening there to change the individual from within outward to become a whole person.
That's powerful. The most important thing I've ever learned is we can rewire our brains.
There is
You know,
hope.
we thought that the way your brain is, that is the end of it.
It's finished.
But we thank God for neuroplasticity.
Yes.
The fact that every single day, by our thoughts, our actions, our interactions, what we eat, our brains are changing. There's a book called The Brain That Changes Itself.
Yes.
Every day, our choices.
Yes.
That's critically important. As we come to our close, ladies, I want us to speak a word that we have, somebody out there, because we are affected. 1 out of 4, and I think it could even be more, of people who present themselves to anybody watching us, be it a family member, be it somebody who is affected by a mental health condition.
Okay. I want to tell you that it all starts within you, because you have to think positively about yourself. To be able to even do that self-care, you need to think positively about yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to care about yourself and to find peace within yourself so that you can be able to live a healthy mental wellness, like to have a good, healthy mental state.
Yeah.
So always try and be very positive. Try and be very loving towards yourself. That is the most important thing.
Thank you so much.
I'll say there is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope. We just need to dust off what has happened in the past and accept that there is hope, there is help out there. That you need to stand up and move and look for any person who is oriented in the aspect of mental wellness, and they will walk with you in that journey. And of course, putting God first.
Thank you so much, ladies. And I just want to end with 2 quotes that I keep saying almost every day because they have really changed my life. The first one is, self-care is not selfish.
No.
You know, when I listen to Annabelle speaking, it's like deep down in my mind, I'm like, that's what I was told not to do. I was told to take care of everybody and abandon myself. That's what is a good woman is supposed to do. Self-care is not selfish.
Yes.
And from what Bisase has said, genetics load the gun. Lifestyle is the trigger.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what genes we have inherited from our ancestors. But what you choose today will decide whether you're pulling that trigger, firing, or you're not.
Yes.
Because a loaded gun can stay here for 100 years. It will never harm anybody. But the moment somebody pulls that trigger, it becomes a weapon of mass destruction.
And that is work. It requires work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of
and
work.
Keep at it.
Keep at it.
Yes.
It's like swimming upstream.
Yes.
Or pushing a boulder
Yes.
up a hill.
Yes.
So, dear viewer, what choices are you making today to take captive your thoughts and to contribute to your overall mental wellness? Thank you for watching us today. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.